speak for up to 5 minutes. At this point, I don't see anybody from the public except members of, again, the consulting team and the TAR Enterprises. But we will give you an opportunity from the consulting group and TAR Enterprises to do a little bit more in terms of details on the proposal. And I just wanted to let you know that if anyone from the public is going to appear, or if Jennifer has any correspondence, she'll have to read that as part of the minutes for the meeting. So at this time, I'm going to ask Jennifer to read the request for the variance.
Sure. Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Jamestown, New York will hold a rescheduled special public hearing on Thursday, June 9th, 2022 at 5:00 p.m. via Zoom to consider the following. The petition of TAR Holdings, LLC, Blake Tarana, 115 McDaniel Avenue, Jamestown, New York, 14701, for an area variance to allow for a proposed 5-foot setback for automotive use area for both side yards, a 7.1-foot setback for front yard, and a 12.4-foot setback for the rear yard on parcel 370.18-1-9 located at 1505 Washington Street, owned by TAR Holdings, LLC in a CM zone. Section 300-0502F2, setbacks. In all C and LM districts, all automotive use areas, not including driveways, shall be set back from front property line, rear property line, and side yard property lines as outlined below, not to be less than 10 feet. A, if the dimension of the property is less than 200 feet, setback shall be 15 feet. B, if the dimension of the property is 200 feet and up to 350 feet, setback shall be 20 feet. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we allow someone from the petitioner to make, again, some more detailed information available to the board members. When you do speak, please state your name and your home address each time. We have to have that for our records. So I'll turn that over to either Kevin or Mark or whoever would like to start.
Ellen, I can start. You said name and home address?
And yes, please.
This is Kevin Drozen with MS Consultants. My home address is 8170 Mount Royal Drive in Concord, Ohio. So am I able to share a screen to present the?
I believe you are.
It says host has disabled participant screen share.
Okay.
Just allow that.
Yeah, Jennifer, there you go. You can.
Do you have the ability yet?
I do not.
Well, it's telling me that we are screen sharing, but let me.
Yeah, it says we're viewing your screen.
Okay.
I think there might be an option.
I've got 2 monitors here, so let me see if this works. Sorry, I've never. Are you able to do anything? It's.
Yep. I can do it now.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Sorry.
Oh, no, not a problem. Thank you, Jennifer. All right. Hopefully that came up for everybody. It's just a zoomed in view of the site plan that was recently submitted. This is the revised plan set.
It's not showing.
Yeah, it's not showing. We're not seeing it.
Nothing. I'll stop the share and I'll try it again.
Okay.
How about now?
I can see it, but I had to go up and change the view option to see your screen.
Oh.
Okay, I can see it now as well. Thank you.
Maybe Jennifer's is still showing as well. So that's
I think Jennifer's
second option.
Mine's still showing.
I'm going to click to see your screen as well, Kevin. Maybe the other board members can do that. And then we'll have the plan up.
Yeah, that worked for me. Thank you.
Okay. Todd, welcome. Sorry. If you could, Todd, if you want to go to Kevin Drozen's screen.
Yes, I have it already. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, perfect. So this is the site plan of the recently submitted revised site plan. This this variance that we are seeking is for the 10-foot parking setback to be reduced to 5. As you can see on the north and south property lines, this is where we are trying to acquire this variance. The reason for the variance is to provide this extra bypass lane really for pedestrian customer safety, allowing them to bypass the drive-through if they decide to leave the site, and then also provides a means for trash pickup to not impact any customer stacking or customer driving through the restaurant pickup window area. So we providing this 14-foot on the outside, and then it narrows down to 12 on the south side. And that's really it. We have adjusted the front. Previously, we had less than a 10-foot in the front, but that did get adjusted with this latest site plan.
Okay. Is that the only adjustment you made from the original plans is in the front, Kevin?
There were a couple smaller changes. We've revised the sidewalk walkway so that there is pedestrian access from the Washington Street sidewalk to the pickup window that's on this side of the building. We've reduced the paving in the rear of the site, and we've also added this riprap apron to I guess slow down the runoff from the site, because it will all be sheet flowing off the site to the rear where there is this drainage channel behind the site.
Okay. At this time, then we would allow members of the zoning board to ask questions of either Mr. Drozen, who is representing the developer, or Mr. Wilson, who's representing Tar Enterprises. Are there questions? I'm having trouble seeing everybody at once, so go ahead and speak if you have a question. I just had one, Kevin. I know you said you changed and had a little crosswalk, and I think that was a recommendation, was it not, from the planning board?
That is correct. All the modifications that we did make were recommendations from the planning board. Okay.
And it does look to me a little confusing with the double stacking of the cars, but I'm assuming that this is a tried and true model with Tim Hortons, that works well, where you have the two drive-through lanes. Can you just talk about that a little bit more?
Sure. And this is a pretty common practice in most modern drive-throughs, I know, just to expedite delivery speeds and customer pickup times. So they, single stack through here. In this site, we are allowing them to double stack fairly early on the west side of the site. And then they go, and there's two menu boards side by side. So in peak hours, peak times, the double stack goes here. The person who arrives at the top menu board would be serviced first. Person on the bottom would be serviced second. So it just reduces that time of, allowing somebody to put their order in, they go up, and then this next person has to come up. So it's just constantly taking orders and allowing for the pickup. So once this person's order has been taken, they would pull up into this queue lane, and then there's just that zipper merge that goes into the single pickup window line.
Okay.
And then, of course, on non-peak times, it could operate just as a single You know, if there's nobody in one of these lines, you know, nothing's saying that they have to alternate. They could just stack behind each other.
Okay. And as you drive into the site, and if you were going not through the drive-through, but I guess you're going to just go around, I'm looking at the that lane, it will be marked appropriately, so there's no parking there, right? I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to try to park in that area, right there where you had your mouse.
There would not be any parking on this north side. It's just identified with arrows saying that this is a through lane.
Okay.
That could be something to consider. I guess Mark would be able to answer that if we wanted to put some, you know, no parking striping or something. I don't see that being an issue, but we are providing these parking spaces if somebody wanted to pull in and utilize the pickup window. But this would be a drive-through only site, so there are no interior seatings. We do have the patio seating on the south side, so with the pickup window, they could pick up their coffee and sit outside if they want, but there is no customer access inside of the building.
Okay, so the parking spots are basically for employees and an occasional person, maybe during the nice weather, who would want to go to the walk-up window. Is that right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Are there other questions from members of the board?
Go ahead.
I just have one question.
Okay.
Actually, it's more of the Tim Hortons on North Main. Will that remain open once this one opens? Do we have any idea of the intention?
Is there somebody who'd like to answer that? Mr. Wilson, since you're representing TAR?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The question was, would this new location impact negatively the North Main, and would the North Main remain open?
North Main will remain open. Our hope is that it will relieve some of the drive-through pressure on North Main, freeing that up a little bit more. Net, we hope to gain additional transactions based upon customers who may be driving past North Main right now and picking up coffee in, say, Cassadaga or Fredonia. Some of those customers would have the opportunity to purchase at this location as opposed to even, say, Brooklyn Square. So we would expect that there'd be a little bit of customers changing their habits and going to this location as opposed to North Main or Brooklyn Square. But overall, we're hoping for a net gain in transactions as drive-through pressures are released at other locations.
And there is just a single egress. You're going to shut off the other exit, correct, on that property?
Correct.
And does that, and this is just a question, since Mr. Scalise is here, I'm going to ask the developer or you, Mr. Wilson, that's already then an approved egress so that you don't have to go back to the state and ask for that. Is that correct?
Kevin, I believe that curb cut is already there. And we are actually removing a curb cut that's currently in place on that site.
We're talking about this Washington Street site?
Yes, yes.
Yes, this existing drive, it's kind of covered up by the keynotes, but yeah, there is an existing drive here that we'll be utilizing.
Okay. Okay, other questions, comments from anyone on the board?
Just one other. I asked Larry, you know, as far as the setbacks on the north and south, any problems with snow removal or snow plowing? Is that anything that's come up?
The plan is to utilize this rear area for snow storage, so that this drive area of the site, 23.9 feet, would, you know, allow for this bypass, but would also, you know, be able to store some snow in the winter months in here, and then that would melt off and just go into the ditch behind the site.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Kenyon?
Yeah, that's all I
Okay. Okay. And I see that you have fencing scheduled on the south side, and I can't see, but I assume also on the north side, will there be fencing? Yes.
There's an existing wooden fence on the north side.
Okay. So that will stay, and a new wood fence would go on the south side around the drive-through lane.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board? Okay, at this point, I will ask Jennifer if we have correspondence that we need to enter into the record.
Sandberg has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He
I
had his
can't
hand
see
up
you.
there.
Okay, I can't see you. Go ahead, Steve.
That's okay. I was just going to ask if we had any correspondence, and you answered that. So
Okay.
And no, I did not receive anything regarding this petition.
Okay. All right. Very good. At this point in time, then we would be looking for a motion for the approval of an area variance for the setbacks on the north and south sides of this property that's owned by Tar Enterprises and to be used for Tim Hortons. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, very good. It's been moved and seconded. Again, this is a motion for an area variance for the north and south sides to have the setbacks at less than what is required. I think that we've had enough discussion, but are there questions on the motion from anyone on the board? Seeing none, the clerk, I'd ask you to call the roll, please.
Ms. Kame?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kenyon?
Yes.
Mr. Sandberg?
yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Chairwoman DeTanto.
Yes. Okay, looks like you have the go-ahead. Again, you have the rights now to work with Mr. Scalise, if you would, to make sure that you get all the correct permitting in place. And we wish you good luck on your project.
Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much.
And we have no other agenda items, so I will move that we adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Have a nice night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
You're good on the computer. You're all over moving.